Good evening to one and all. I, Akansha Singh. Let me start by expressing my gratitude to everyone for joining and adorning this platform with your presence. Amity University, Greater Noida, and Atulyam campus. Delighted to see you all at yet another session of the series Authors Talk, organized by Book Club Central Library under Azadi Ka Picharva Amrit. The main motive behind this
Yes.
author talk series is to inculcate the reading habits among each one of us. Thanks to the vision of our Honorable Founder President Dr. Ashok Kumar Chauhan and Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan. Honorable President, a man grounded to his dreams. He has always believed in the policy of lending one eye on vision and one eye on implementation. A man of mission who follows the four E's: edge, enthusiasm, excellence, and execution in all walks of life. On the same note, our Honorable Chancellor needs special appreciation for his inspiring words. King always does full justice to all. We are not 100% perfect, but our effort should be towards the perfection. Let me also inform you all, the participants, that we are also going live from our Amity University Facebook social media handle named AUGNCL Central Library. Goddess Saraswati is an embodiment of knowledge and learning. Let's seek her
आपसे
blessings.
बात तो रोज हो रही है लेकिन आपसे फाइनल कुछ कर नहीं पा रहा हूँ।
May I request our presenter to please play the prayer.
नहीं, मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है। अब वो ये बताइए।
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीम् वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदां जाड्यान्धकारापहा हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीम्
Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Greater Noida, and Atulyam campus of Amity Education Group is shining under the leadership of our Director General, Professor Dr. Ajay Rana. He has been with Amity Education Group for more than 22 years, working in different capacities as Senior Vice President Director and much more. He has also served Shobit University, Meerut. Ajay Rana is an educationalist, a teacher, an innovator, a strategist, and a committed philanthropist. His experience of successful conduct of inspection of UGC, NAC, NIRF, QAA, and statutory bodies like AICTE, NCT, and BCI. Dr. Ajay Rana has been honored with more than 250 awards and recognition for his extraordinary work in the field of education and research. We welcome you, sir. I would request you to please give the opening remarks.
Professor Akanksha, maybe Director General will join after a while, please.
Sure.
Kindly introduce today's chief guest, please.
Okay, sure, definitely, sir. So, We are greatly honored and extremely delighted to have the chief guest of this evening, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey, presently an advisor, Competition Commission of India, and heads Advocacy Division of the Commission. He has an illustrious academic, administrative, and professional career spanning over 2 decades. He has been instrumental in the design of International Corporation of Competition Commission of India. Dr. Pandey represents the Competition Commission of India at national and international forums, including OECD, UNCTAD, BRICS, ICN, and many more. We welcome you, sir. May I request our chief guest for the hour to please share some words of wisdom with our listeners.
Thank you, Professor Akanksha, and the dignitaries, and especially the young author Manthan Shah, who has done a commendable piece of work in his book, Unstoppable. I'm really glad to be part of this initiative, and I commend the patrons of this initiative and the university, and you all taking so much interest in book club and calling young authors and sharing experience. That is a wonderful thing. I always love books, and I'll just quote one shlok from Bhutsuddhi Tantra, which says, Pustakancha Maheshani Yad Grihe Vidite Sada Kashadini Chatirthani Sarvani Tasya Mandire, which means that wherever we say a home, if it has got books and Lord Shiva, then all the tirths, including Kashi, they are at the same place. So books are not only the repository of knowledge, rather they provide us inspiration and wisdom as well. Now, the knowledge which remains in book, people say that might not be useful, but the effort what you people are making is to bring out the knowledge to common people, to people at large. Now, that is the real work, and I'm really glad that this effort is being taking place at Amrit campus. I had the fortunate privilege to read this book, and I thank Chiranjeev Lalji for sending the book. That is Unstoppable. What I find in this book, that is my understanding, it's all about young people's grit, courage, and their effort to excel in life. Apart from that, it shares nuggets of wisdom, which the author has derived from various primary sources, and also connected those nuggets with real life stories. I really admire and compliment Mr. Manthan Shah for putting his thoughts and all the stories in this book called Unstoppable. I wish him all the best for future endeavors, and I am really thankful and glad to be part of this endeavor. Over to you, Professor Akanksha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening words. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having one of them here today with us to build this event. Today's author talk is on the book Unstoppable, How Youth Icons Achieve Extraordinary Things, by renowned author Mr. Manthan Shah, who has joined us from Israel. He's a 22-year-old author, podcaster, athlete, student, and Shawzaman scholar. He's one of the youngest authors commissioned by Penguin Random House to write his book Unstoppable. He's a two-time under-18 SGFI Indian table tennis national champion and won medals for India at the Pacific School Games 2015 in Adelaide, Australia. He hosts Planet Impact, the podcast that shared the stories of young changemakers. Recently, he won the prestigious Shawzaman Scholarship to study global affairs at Tsinghua University, Beijing. There's much more to share about him, but now we wanted to hear you. We welcome you, Mr. Manthan. Please share some insights of your book with our audience.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honor to be here. And this is my first talk after the book has come out. And for this to be at Amity and in the presence of all you dignitaries is an absolute honor for me. So thank you so much for having me. Dr. Pandey ji, thank you so much for kind words. And I really appreciate you took the time. The book has been out only for a month and you already have been through most of the book, which is really very moving. Chiranji Lalji, Rohitan Singh ji, Akansha, Professor Akansha, thank you so much for having me. So with this, I have, I was thinking hard about how can I summarize this book, which is 272 words, 4 years of my life, 10 chapters, 40 stories of under 25-year-old overachievers from India into a 30-minute talk. So I might not be able to do justice to all the stories. So I've thought of doing it in 4 sections. One is the introduction of why I wrote this book. Next, I have picked 3 of the most relevant chapters for our audience today. And lastly, it would be like conclusions and call to actions for our young listeners. In any case, if you can't hear me, just like raise your hands and feel free to bother me at any point. That's not an issue at all. So with that, the first thing is why I wrote this book, and also what you must be thinking, this like brown young kid coming from this town of Ahmednagar, only 22-year-old, what will he teach us about life and self-help? Like what experience he has to talk about self-help? And that was a major thought even before writing this book. Like I don't have enough years of experience to talk about self-help, and neither do I have a lot of achievements under my belt. But so this book was not about me trying to preach anyone anything. It was about me trying to find out what does success mean to young people in India, and trying to learn from as many people as I can and compile it into one book. So my story is, I was 8 years old. I started playing table tennis in my town in Ahmednagar, and when I was by the time I was 10 years old, I was pretty good at it. So I requested my parents to move us to Pune, which is the nearest metropolitan city. So for the next 8 years, I trained hard. My dream was to become a national champion, play table tennis for India, become an Olympian. I did become national champion, but the Olympic dream was still far and distant. So after my 12th grade, I had to, because of external circumstances, I had to give up my sporting ambitions and move 180 degrees and find something to do with my life. And I had the fire in me to think that I want to do something extraordinary. But when I went to the bookstores, I couldn't find relevant books about what does success mean for young people, and especially the ones coming from the South Asian, like India and our geography. All the other books were written either by Western people with white examples of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, whose stories we could not relate to, or on the other hand, they were written by slightly older Indian authors who were in their 50s, 60s, which is great, but it was more of their musings and not something concrete that I could relate to, that I could do, visualize and do in my life. So I was like, as an overconfident 18-year-old, I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a book which is going to be better than any other book in the world. So from age 18 to age 22, I worked on this book, and Penguin Random House was kind enough to commission me for this. And at 22, this book came out. So that is the basic background of this book. And now talking about the theme, like extraordinary and so unstoppable, how do you become an extraordinary? So this might appear as why, the people just talking about the top 1% of the people who have, been super successful. And but actually, I demystify it in this book. I don't talk about the people who have coming from tremendous privilege, who are already in the top 1% in governments and all. In this book, there are stories of 40 overachievers, but those come from humble backgrounds, and they have traveled vast distances in their life to do something extraordinary. And they're like people like you and me who have just made things happen on their own efforts and own 10 characteristics that I've defined in the book. And that is something that we all can relate to. So that was a bit about the introduction for the book. Also, I know the question answers are part for the last 5 minutes, but if there are any questions at this point also, please feel free to ask them. But with this, I'd like to get into 3 chapters and of this book. So the first one of them is one of my favorites. It's called on networking. So it appears like a lot of success in India and South Asia depends on your social capital, and like who you know matters more than what you know, and your network is as important as your net worth, as commonly phrased. But like if someone isn't born in the privilege of, you know, just like family connections, then how does one crack that ceiling and, you know, get to learn, get to reach out to newer people and make connections and be successful? So that's what this chapter talks about. Now I'm gonna put Professor Akansha or Dr. Singhji on spot and ask, so there are these two great artists, right? Like Vincent van Gogh and Pablo Picasso. So one, Pablo Picasso died in an estate of $750 million. And on Vincent van Gogh, on the other hand, died penniless in the south of France. But today, both their paintings are sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. So according to you, Professor Akansha, what do you think made the difference, like in the lifetime of these two artists? Why would one die penniless and why would one die a multimillionaire?
I think so the kind of work they have done, which is still recognized by the people from every industry. That's what I think, because I belong to advertising background, and advertisers have been using their paintings as a analogy in their creative work. So I will prefer that Vincent Gogh is my favorite.
Awesome, thank you. I'm again sorry to put you on the spot, but yeah, exactly. Both their paintings today are used by advertising agencies, and they are like very famous, and their paintings are sold for hundreds of millions of dollars today. But when they both were alive, one died absolute poor, and the other died much like had better life outcomes. So it appears that like Vincent van Gogh was much like loner. He did not have the social skills, and his paintings, the only connection for him with the outside world was his older brother. So his older brother would just like buy his book, support him financially, and, you know, distribute this book. But after Vincent van Gogh died, people discovered his art, and then he was appreciated posthumously. But Pablo Picasso, on the other hand, has had amazing social skills. He had people connections from across geographies, politicians, industrialists in different countries. So his art, even if he did not put a lot of efforts in one piece of it would still be very famous. So that's the like the hook of the chapter. That's how the chapter begins, with basically saying that your network and who you know, even irrespective of how talented you are, for your life outcomes to be greater in your lifetime, you need to have those social skills to go out and open opportunities for yourself. So having said that, when you dive deeper into the networking chapter, it then talks about my story. Like I was 19 years old. I went to Singapore, and in Singapore, you don't get paid internship opportunities unless you are a permanent resident or like a citizen of that country. So for me to crack an internship opportunity, I had to build my own network. Like none of my friends or parents knew anyone in Singapore. So what I started was like I made a list of like an Excel sheet of everyone that I would love to work for. Then I started writing cold emails to them, and the internship offer that I got at Ashoka in Singapore was I went to the office of that, I knocked on the door, and I asked to meet the country director of that organization. She was surprised. She sat me down, she listened to my story, and then after 3 rounds of interviews, still she offered me an internship. And that internship kind of changed my exposure to Singapore, the Southeast Asia. Then that gave me another opportunity to go to Madrid and work in Spain, and all that when I was like 19 and 20 years old. So I believe in power of networking, that it can be done through you, and that can be learned. And if I can do it, basically anyone can do it. So after that, I like in this book, there is also other stories of this young entrepreneur called Akash Singh. So he is the founder of Energy Group, and that like his idea, he's a social entrepreneur. So what he does is he takes the waste from the temple and he brings it to the jail in New Delhi, and the convicts are use that temple waste to make artifacts and articles, and those are sold. That's a very brilliant idea, right? But he came across this idea. He comes from a smaller town outside Noida, and he went to New Delhi. He went to all the scientists, all the people at Adult Incubation Center, like tried to get his idea through it, then like made his own network, and he has come so far. And he's only 22 years old, and he has achieved great things for himself. So that is another story that I talk about in that chapter. Now we can get into like what sort of network, what do you mean by networking, and what sort of network you should aspire for. So a lot of us, we are at university students, so we know a lot of people. Like our social circles, we have like thousands of Instagram followers, like many LinkedIn connections, Facebook friends, but those are all the people mostly of our own age and our own level of experience. But we should, that doesn't get you much further, because everyone is the same boat as you are. So you should, that is called a horizontal network. So I don't know if you can see it, but you should aspire for a vertical network in which the people that you know are like much distributed, like more experience than you, less experience than you, but from coming from diverse range of backgrounds, and that would expose you to opportunities that you would have never thought about. Then like I connect this story to another guy. He has like a growth disability, and he was like, he's a computer scientist now, and he works at the biggest organizations in New Delhi, and he's Forbes 30 under 30 entrepreneur. But he came from Bhopal, and he did not know really anyone. He had just like crazy ideas about apps and software, but as a 17-year-old, then he did not have many opportunities. So he would cold email the founders of HDFC Bank or Universal Music Studio or the directors at Apple in San Francisco about like asking them for guidance, and asking them about how can he go about life. And actually a lot of people replied to him, and that kind of shaped the work that he did in the future. And that leads us to like, how can you become a better networker? So in this book, I talk about, after interviewing of people who are like really good at connecting with other people, like America's most connected individual, they share with us 5 things that can help you grow your network. Yes, so one of them is to add value appropriately. So like you need to ensure like who you're asking and what you're asking for favors to are relevant. You can't ask like a music expert to do something with education, and also ask value appropriately, which is relevant to them, and ask something which is very specific, so they don't spend a lot of time on your problem. The second thing is solve their problem. So like when you reach out to people who you want to connect with, don't ask for favors upfront. Like say, I read your research paper, or I read your book, and I think I would love to help you in any way, or like I would love to call you to my university to give a speech, or like do something that adds value to them at first before asking for favors. The third thing, which is my personal favorite, is ask for 5-minute favors. So like to give a backstory, to write this book, I interviewed 40 overachievers, and like people who are at Time magazine, people who are multiple times Forbes 30 under 30. So it was hard for me to, as someone from no connections whatsoever, to reach them and get in touch with them. So what technique I used was like a 5-minute favor. So if the person has written books, or has a podcast, or is running a startup or whatever, you can do some favor to them up front. Like you can write a 5-star rating at Amazon, or you can listen and share their podcast with other people, or you can look for investors for the startup or whatever. And then you can ask for, like, after you add value to them, then you can ask for favors. Also, like if they ask you for your help, then do what you say, like have that integrity to follow through what your commitments and the things that you've said them that you will do. And finally, it is like keep in touch, like send them like sweet nice messages, links every time, here and there, after a few months. And then once you build like a good connection with them, they will eventually become lifelong friends with you. Right now I'm in Israel, and yesterday I met the United Nations Director of Relief and Relief Work in East Jerusalem. So they are working with Palestine government, like Palestinian refugees here. I wouldn't have met this person if my mentor, who I met 3 years ago, would have introduced me to her. So it's like you never know like which connections lead you to where, and like what doors open for you. So it's always helpful to stay in touch, add value to them continuously, and always be like kind, sincere, and helpful. So that is one of the 10 chapters in the book. So with that, I'll take a few questions, and then I can go into the next 2 chapters, if that's okay, Professor Akansha.
Definitely, we can take the questions, but we have one more invited guest. So let him speak, and then after that we can come up with the questions. Okay.
Absolutely.
And Okay, thank you so much, Manthan, for those energetic and inspiring words. Definitely, at this present scenario, this networking, entrepreneurship are the powerful words which every youth, at least youth, is looking out for. Thank you so much. We'll get back to you. Uh, let's move on to our other invited guest for the hour, Dr. Anurag Gupta. He did his bachelor's in computer science and engineering and later on went on to pursue masters in digital communication from Monash University, Melbourne, Australia. And he works for a longer period there and then returned back to India. After returning back, he decided to do something in the field of elementary education in India. So he quit his well paid job and started a school named Vidya Niket in his hometown, Gwalior, in the year 2012. He is a CBSE accredited master trainer and a certified accreditor for National Accreditation Board of Education and Training under Quality Council of India. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
You're quite audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jai Hind. Thank you, Dr. Rohtash, for giving me this opportunity to be present on this platform. And I would like to congratulate Manthan for his wonderful book. Though I have not read it, but when he was speaking, I was quite impressed. At such a young age, you have accomplished a lot of things, which is a dream for most of us. Okay, so the youth is unstoppable. That's the title of your book, Unstoppable and Extraordinary Minds. Could you just mention the title of your book again?
Yes, sir. Unstoppable: How Youth Icons Achieve Extraordinary Things.
How Youth Icons Achieve Extraordinary Things. Yes. I may call myself a youth because I've crossed 40, but if Rahul Gandhi is a youth, then I'm a youth too. Doesn't matter. There's not a platform here. But after spending almost my half life, what I've lived so far, around 15 to 20 years in India, in Australia, and working in different fields of life. Now I'm to the education sector. For the last 10, 12 years, what I have realized, that is through my experiences when I'm dealing with children, especially the school going children, that what is the need of the hour that will be helping to all the youth to be unstoppable is value education. Because doing a business, if you want to create a network or net worth, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, basic human values are required. That is to be discussed upon. That is to be discussed upon in Indian perspective. So because I'm an educator, so I'll be talking more about education, because though I have worked in corporate sector and I worked in different fields of life, but still for the last 10, 12 years, I'm into this sector. What I believe that will keep you rolling always throughout your life is your eternal human values. So this is what lacking in most of the youth right now. They don't have a direction. There is no match between what they are expecting and what they really should expect. So the expectations are unreal for them. They are becoming more materialistic. So I don't have much to say on this platform because I have more experienced and glorified laureates, I would say here, that are present on the other side of the screen. But what I want to say is that the only message that I wish to give to everyone: invest in yourself. Invest in yourself means in your internal development, and believe me, that will give you the best return of investment. I wish Manthan a very good luck, and I pray to God that you reach to the greatest heights in your career, which is just starting. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Dr. Rotash, Manthan, Professor Akanksha. Best of luck. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words. Now, I think it's the time to take the question and answers. So I will request the participants to put down their questions either in the chat box or in the Q&A box. So I can see a few questions in the chat box. How this book will be help me in future? Will help me in the future. That's what.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I mentioned, like if this is probably the most relevant self-help book for any young individual coming from India who aspires to do something extraordinary, because this book was written by me for my 17-year-old self who was kind of lost and did not have a direction, to give me some direction, as well as share stories of 40 extraordinary overachievers who are Olympians, who are star musicians, rock stars, young IAS officers who have surpassed all difficulties to become the IAS officers, climate activists, politicians, entrepreneurs, Forbes 30 to 30 activists. Like everyone's stories are in it, and then the key lessons from their stories and literature review and my own stories and call to actions are all put into this between these covers. So maybe that will help you clarify, inspire you, and give you some solid material that you can inculcate in your life.
Okay. So next question we have from Devansh Seni. What does it take to start writing a book from scratch with no one around you to encourage you about doing so?
That is such a good question. So it takes a lot of efforts and a lot of like my hair used to be here before writing the book, and it has gone up. So it like you need to strive through a lot of self-doubt and a lot of loneliness to finish a book. So I firstly, if you have like a topic which is so burning, like if you have like some lived experience which are so strong, and if you have something to share with the world, it will automatically come out. Like you won't be able to sleep at night and go out with friends or whatever. That will be like a one burning desire. And once you have that, like at least I was obsessed with this idea of success and what it means to young Indians. Therefore, I was zoned out. Like everything, the world stopped for me, and this book was the only thing I was working on for the last 4 years. So if you have that target which is strong enough, then you won't like need any further motivation. So that's like, yeah, the burning desire to create something will help you make this book possible.
So I think so. This question is from one of the faculty. She's asking that Miss Pooja Singh, will you please share your formula to encourage students only for 10 minutes in classroom to mentor them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. With all pleasure. Like I'd love to.
That question was asked to
What
me.
exactly?
Yeah, exactly. The question is for Anurag sir.
Yeah.
Can you give that particular formula with how to encourage children in the class, or being a spark for that 10 minutes initially when you're going into
Actually,
the classroom?
the reason that Pooja has mentioned 10 minutes because she has listened to my webinar, and I have mentioned that that we have 6,000 minutes for a subject teacher to teach in a year, in 10 months. So I asked all the teachers to spend 10 to 15 minutes per month building a bridge between your mind and your students' mind. So the question is exactly that. Pooja ma'am, and to everyone who's listening to me who's into the field of school education, there is no approach. The only thing is just to build a rapport with your students, either your students or your audience, whosoever is listening to you. You need to build a rapport, because what I think is a person will only listen to you if he or she develops an interest in you first. So that 10 minutes that you spend, irrespective of the subject that you teach, irrespective of the topic that you're teaching, the 10 minutes you need to spend to develop the interest in you as a person for your students, and then you start what you want to teach. So there's no innovation in it. Anything that makes you comfortable with your students. So you can go for storytelling, you can go for anything that has happened with you during the day or previous day or any time. Just make it up a story and present it to them so that they start liking you as a person. And once they start liking you as a person, then they will definitely start listening to you, and the effort that you're going to do for the rest, say 5,900 minutes in a year, because 6,000 minutes for the 600 minutes per month and 10 minutes a month. So for 10 minutes a month, if you spend 100 minutes in this exercise, your 5,900 minutes will be quite sensible. So just try to ease the tension between you and your audience. That's all, nothing else. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anurag, sir. So that's our next question for Mr. Manthan from Andreas. Your book sounds fantastic, and I wish it was available to me when I started off college. How can we apply the principles from the book after we have graduated college and starting a corporate career?
Thank you so much, Andres. That's a wonderful question. And I think this book transcends age and like life phases that you're on. It's not just like pre-college, college, post-college, but I think the principles that we have learned here can be executed by anyone. And also like after college, I think as we join the corporate life, there are a few myths that I think I'd like to bust using this book. So like we after college, in corporate life, it's like corporate life and passion, right? And we are often told that passion, find your passion, it's and like, follow your passion. So even if you are conflicted between doing a corporate life and like doing something that you're passionate about, so I would say it's not about just like finding passion and doing it. It's about just like sticking with one thing and nurturing that passion and like evolving it to something that you're good at, something that you like, and something that the world needs. So that is one of the first chapters also that talks about this. And also I'd like to go to all the 10 things, but I'm not sure if it's in the interest of the time, but these principles are good to be learned, but also in the last, I talk about building a community. So if in your corporate life or after college, if you are like moving on, and if you find like 3 people who are like really interested in what your life targets are, then you can it's easier for you to achieve bigger things in a group of people than just like going for it alone. So that would be probably 2 pieces of advice.
Thank you. I also wanted to read out a few comments for you, Mr. Manthan. Marvelous, great job, great effort with an innovative approach by Mr. Manthan towards true professionalism with strong value system. And okay, there is where can I buy your book online? Is your book available online too?
Yeah, absolutely. It is available on Amazon. It's available in most bookstores in India. I'll drop a link below also.
Sure. There is one question that do you have a plan to make your book practices to be applied to a confused youth at 10th and 12th level?
Yeah, actually, this, like, as I mentioned, like this book it transcends all ages. Like I wrote this book for my 17-year-old self who was in the 12th grade. So it has like all the, like, designs and call to actions, and it's like a guide with a lot of storytelling and also like practical guide for how can you inculcate these characteristics in your life. So if you are a 10, 12 standard confused individual, like hi-fi, like congrats, like I was same as you, and this book was exactly written for you. So this would definitely be helpful.
Okay, I think so. There's one question from Sushil Kumar Shukla. He's asking from you also, and Mr. Anurag sir also. Don't you both think that there needs serious and consistent efforts across India by many experts at every level, like school, colleges, to infuse these practical learnings as life skills to be inculcated?
May I answer that question?
Sure, sir.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And Sushil Kumarji, all the boards, specifically CBSE, has started already doing so. They are conducting trainings for their teachers and the principals about all these things, and a lot of new subjects, practical subjects, are being infused in the curriculum. Recently, there was a almost like 6 to 8 month training program that was conducted by CBSE for principals across the globe of all the schools affiliated with CBSE on pedagogical leadership. And in that, all these skills were discussed in details, how you can make your school a better school where you have the best learning outcomes for your students. So that has already been thought of, but believe me, we are dealing with a population of 150 crore people, right? And the number of school going children in India is 25 crores. So whenever we talk about the best education system in the world, we give an example of Finland, right? You know how many students are there in Finland who go to school? 13.5 lakhs. So we have 200 times more population that goes to Indian schools. So with this kind of social political system that we possess, these things will take some time. And it's not say over the night change that you'll see, but yes, it has started, and it is going through, and it is a ripple effect. It will take some time. Thank you.
So Manthan, if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not at the level as Anurag ji is to comment on Indian system and the pedagogies and all. But as a young 22-year-old, I think the onus of being successful and doing something extraordinary is on us. In fact, it's not just an onus; it's a responsibility, because right now we live in India, and as someone who's grown up in India, with all the tuitions that I've gone through from like 6th grade to 12th grade, the college, and now all my friends are applying to jobs, and the same rat race continues. To break free from all this and to rise above the same competition, the suffocating feeling that one student feels in India, it is to do something extraordinary. It's to do something a bit hatke, a bit non-conformist, and this book helps you that. And in fact, right now, like as a young Indian, India is quite a challenging place to grow in, like in terms of our income per capita, the competition levels, the happiness index, the employment opportunities, the everything, right? So it is like very much your responsibility to, make the most of your life, to fulfill your potential, to do something, because once you do it, it's not only you who are rising above all the the struggle to be mediocre, but also you're taking a lot of people with you. Your life outcomes of you, your family, your friends are improving. So I would just say it's like on you, each individual of you, to look after for yourself and fulfill your potential. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anurag sir, in your last context, Mr. Sushil is asking that effectiveness on ground is still a big question, and delay in implementation had been alarming. So what's your take on that? Anurag sir, are you there? Okay. So we can take more questions, but in the meanwhile, our Director General has joined us. So would request Dr. Ajay Rana to please address the gathering.
Thank you, Professor Akansha Singh. I've listened to thoughts by Shri Anurag Gupta ji and Manthan. So, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, namaskar to you, Dr. Anurag, namaskar to you, and Manthan. Really, you are the author for those who have touched the millions, and in fact, not the billions people across the globe. So, on behalf of our Honorable Founder President Dr. Ashok Chauhan, on behalf of our President Dr. Atul Chauhan, I welcome you, all the esteemed three panelists, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, Shri Anurag Gupta ji, and Shri Manthan Gupta ji, that you are here to accept our invitation, be the part of this forum, to share your knowledge with the torch bearer, the teachers like the Professor Akansha, Professor Shilki, and all those who are here, that they are the torch bearer, they are the responsible person to transfer your ideas and views for the upcoming future leaders, not for our Mother India, but our Mother Earth. My compliment to my both two leaders, Dr. Chiranji Lalji and Dr. Rohtas Singh, that you always approach to me, proud of you both that you take this initiative in the new heights. And really, I have worked with Amity Education Group for last 22 years. And I realized that you are the first person who always this talk in the new next level. So Dr. Rohtash and Dr. Chiranji Lal, keep it up. Proud of you. Do not stop such a movement, so that we are so lucky that today we are here to listen Shri Manthan Shahaji and Shri Anurag Gupta ji about this, your enlightened and the knowledgeable and in fact some new words for me. So my compliment to both of you, my compliment to Professor Shilki Sharma and Dr. Akansha Singh, that you are here to strengthen my two leaders, Dr. Rohtas Singh and Dr. Chiranji Lal. Dr. Anurag, you have touched a very small point, that I'm the part of the CBSE government of India as well as the government of Rajasthan. You said that very truly that you have mentioned that Finland, how we compare our population, how we compare the role model of the Finland government with respect to our government or our nation. Same the question when I was with in the Singapore in the one talk where the renowned professors across the globe, they are in the one forum, and they said many times, India, and this Singapore, and the US, and I am Indian, totally shocked that many person approach to me. Indians are so and so. Indians economy is not up to the mark. Their corruption and all these things. And I mentioned the one point, Dr. Anurag, like you mentioned that about the Finland point, that I remember my visit to that time. So my colleague, John William from MIT, USA, and the organizer of this, the Singapore government, as well as I'm Indian. There's a one gathering. And whenever they talked anything, then I said to one word, please compare, you compare India with Singapore and the USA. I'm Indian, I proudly feel that I'm Indian. My concern is that you compare the one factor, and that is the real life factor. If how many persons from the US pay the taxes? They said 93% populations of the USA pay the tax. Then ask the question, how many persons pay the tax from Singapore? They said 99%. Okay, very good. Now come to my country. Earlier, the person said to me that India is the golden bird. Now we call the golden elephant. We are not the golden bird, we are the golden elephant. They say, how? Then I said to them, if the US 93% population pay the tax, and they take care about only 7% population of their rest population. And what about Singapore? When the 99% population of the Singapore person, they pay the taxes and they take care about only the 1%. What about Indian? We Indian pay only 6% of the tax, and we are here take care about 94% population of our country. How big and how rich we are if 6% population, those who are pay the tax on time, they take care about 94% population of our country. Like Singapore, we have a Kerala. You compare the demography of the Singapore with respect to our Kerala. You check the literacy rate of the Kerala and the Singapore. You check the other perspective, how cultured we are. We have around 5,000 years of background, heritage. You name the Vaiguru or Bhagwan Ram or Krishna or many others you find in our country. US have only 200 years of background. We have a background around more than 5,000 years, heritage and all these things. So I am not stop myself, Shri Anurag ji, that you touch with respect to Finland. Yes, we are in the safe hands like you and Shri Manthan Shah ji, that your topic really unstoppable. That is a new message to the youth for me as well as the other future leaders. So you are here again. I request to Dr. Singh and Dr. Chiranjeev Lal, whatever you help me from our side, whatever you need help from our side, we are definitely here to strengthen you. Give my best wishes to your entire team. And Professor Shri Manshan Sahaji, I request to you and both Shri Anurag ji, whenever your time permits, please visit to our campus. Sanjay ji, namaskar. Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, namaskar to you. Thank you that you are here from your busy schedule. So I request to Honorable Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, Honorable Anurag ji, and Shri Manthan Shah ji, whenever your time permit, not to
I just want to add one thing. MIT University Greater Noida campus, my first ever formal interview after I graduated from my college, my first ever formal interview was held at MIT University campus in 2002. Okay. And that was the, I mean, जब नोएडा बना ही नहीं था और बहुत ही मतलब रिक्शे में बैठ के मैं कहां से कहां गया तो मुझे वो याद भी नहीं है. मेट्रो का कोई कंसेप्ट नहीं था, कैब्स नहीं चलते थे, बसेस चेंज कर करके. आई बिलोंग टू ग्वालियर, आई वेंट टू गाजियाबाद टू माय रिलेटिव, देन टू नोएडा. वो भी आप सोचिए मतलब, एंड दैट वाज वन कोर्स दैट एमआईटी ऑफर्ड दैट टाइम. I think some telecommunication course or something like that. I was General the first person.
General Bhargava, we have the General BTech in telecommunication. General Bhargava, Colonel Arora.
Yes. He took my interview, and it was a panel of almost like 10-15 networking experts, and I was just a young graduated from college. कुछ आता जाता नहीं था, and I was the first one to get the offer letter. Somehow then after that I decided to go to Australia and didn't join it. But that time also I love the campus, and I would love to go visit your campus if time permits. And
thank you. Not only for this Noida, we are in Gwalior. In fact, I have passed out from the Gwalior Murar Kent, Kendriya Vidyalaya Murar Kent. I have passed out 34. So whenever your time permits,
I stay in Thadipur, sir. It's a kya baat hai, matlab, on a platform which is internationally acclaimed, and we are talking about Thadipur and Gwalior. That's what globalization is all about.
Please visit to our Gwalior campus when your time permits. Please educate, like you are the part of MIT, sir. So whenever your time permits, so visit our Gwalior campus. Our Lieutenant General V.K. Sharma, that was there with the head of our Gwalior campus. Shri Sanjay ji, I know that you are so busy, sir. You are busy with the many assignments. You are the person who run the entire country with respect to many assignments. But on behalf of our honorable founder, I say thank to you that you come here, blessed us. So, and Manthan ji, your talk, I keenly listen to your word to word, how clarity you are, how aware about your books chapter. I have written 8 books with the help of my PhD scholars, but you are the person who know about the entire lines and all these things in chapter number 6 and chapter number 7. So compliment to you whenever your time permit, Shri Manthan Shah ji, please visit our campus to educate the kids in face to face, and we are here to need your help. I request Dr. Rohtash, whenever time permits, invite Honorable Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, or send our request whenever Dr. Sanjay Pandey ji stands to visit our campus. Sir, please welcome and bless us in the physical mode. Again, my compliment to all my esteemed professors, those who are present here. And I am here to keenly interested to listen more about my chief guest, about my author, and the guest, Shri Anurag Gupta ji. Also, thank to my all deans, Dr. Dhyani ji, Dr. Jassi Saab, and my head of the campus HR and the Vice President, Shri Anil Kumar Chaudhary ji. And thank you all my professors, those who are present here. Keep it up if you are here to listen, at least that I take the point, Shri Anurag Gupta ji, compare our education system with the Finland. So if you take around 2 or 3 points for your future perspectives, then that is a great platform that we should learn a lot of things from our experts. So again, thank you all. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your support. We are shining under your leadership. Thank you so much. Anurag, sir, we have 2 more questions in the chat box. If you love to answer those questions, let me recall it. The first question is how I can improve my speaking skills in front of audience. And the second question is from Mr. Shushil. Seems still miles to go to overhaul the sick Indian education system on ground, maybe due to lack of sheer political will as a strong hurdle. So call excuse as usual. We are still unable to adopt the best global practices. What's your views on that?
I'll answer the second question first and then the first question. Sushil Kumar Shukla ji, आप कहाँ से हैं? I don't know, but मैं एक चीज इस platform पे I just want to say, I have taken numerous trainings for principals and teachers across India, and I always say one thing to everyone: please stop saying our system's sick. No other system in the world can cater to 25 crore students, and that too what we are doing right now. So I am proud of my education system. There may be some lacunae, but this is one of the best education systems that is working on this planet, because no education system in this world is catering to a huge population like ours. There are certain changes need to be made that everybody is thinking of, but before changing the education system, a lot of things have to change. Because the social political system of the country is responsible for that. So we need, it's not the platform, it's not the right platform to discuss all that, but yes, the changes are starting right now and it will take time. There's no magic stick that we can just wave off and we can expect a change. It is changing gradually, but believe me, we are still in the best system because no other system can work for us in our present circumstances. So that's, I think I have answered the question. Sir, agar maine kuch aisa kaha ho to I'm sorry, but believe me, certain things we need to accept कि कैसी चल रही है तो वो चलती रहेंगी. अपन एकदम discard कर दें किसी चीज को, it's not possible because the solution will take time. And in present situation, मैंने कहीं एक sentence पढ़ा था कि फैसला सही और गलत के बीच में नहीं होता, गलत और कम गलत के बीच में होता है. तो वो कम गलत के बीच वाला जो फैसला है वो ये है. So that's the answer. The first question that was asked that I'm answering now, how can I improve my speaking skills in front of audience? Simran ji, bada hasyaspad jawab hai mera, lekin the answer is by speaking. So first choose your audience. First you choose your audience जहां पे आपकी गलतियां accept और जहां पे आपको positive feedback मिले. So first choose your audience. Once you are comfortable with that audience, then move to the audience which is not known to you. So, but the only way to improve your speaking skills in front of anyone is by speaking, nothing else. That's all. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Anurag sir, and thank you so much, Mr. Manthan, for answering those questions. I think so we have no more questions there. Now I would request Dr. Rohtash Singh to please take over the mic.
Thank you, Professor Akanksha Singh. From this author talk, we learn whatever the things we learned, I may compile in a single sentence. And the quote of Swami Vivekananda: arise, wake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And it's a message from Shri Manthan Shah, that is unstoppable, unstoppable, and unstoppable. Right. Now it's the time of felicitation. With the kind permission of our Honorable Director General, Professor Dr. Ajay Rana, sir,
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Dr. Sen.
I request to best of the certificate excellences.
Please go ahead, Dr. Rohtas Singh.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Book Club, Central Library, Amrit University, Uttar Pradesh, and Atulyam campus, we wish to express our sincere thanks to today's guests for sharing the words of wisdom and sparing your valuable time from your tight schedule. On behalf of Book Club, it is our pleasure to present you a token of respect and gratitude. May I request today's chief guest, Shri Sanjay Kumar Pandey ji, Advisor Competition Commission of India from Government of India, for delivering the keynote address. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and give us the words of wisdom. Now, may I request to Shri Anurag Gupta ji, Chief Mentor, Vidya Niket, Gwalior, to giving the words of wisdom as invited talk. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Jane.
And our special person, Mr. Manthan Shah, at the age of 22, who is commissioned by Penguin. Means it's really a wonderful thing for us. So kindly accept the token of love and gratitude.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor. The honor is mine, and it will be like Dr. Rana ji. Thank you so much for inviting to the campus. I'd love to come interact with the students and share the learnings of the book with the students as much as I can. But truly, thank you all again for having and inviting me.
Sure, Dr. Rohtas, if it is possible, must ensure that deliver this thanks letter to our honorable guest and the chief guest and our author of the day. Must ensure that Dr. Rohtas, please.
Surely. And these are not the three guests of the day. I think these are the three gems of the day.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Now,
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So today we added three more gems in our author club. Now may I request to Shri Anil Kumar Chaudhary ji, Vice President and Personnel and Registrar, to make the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
And Dr. Rohtas and Dr.
Yes, sir.
Chiranjeev Lal, please make a one wall on our library that these are the esteemed the persons, those who are on the club. Mention the one wall, and one wall put their names and the book with their book and the expert talk, so that we always make a one simple wall with the name of these authors and our
Sir,
honorable guest for this.
Sir, that means streamlined.
I'm so sorry, Sri Chaudhary ji. Please, I'm so sorry that I have say in between. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I think that the vote of thanks start with a very good announcement that we'll have a board, and board will consist of the people who have been delivering lectures to us and giving inputs to the readers, the author books. How this club has started, how this has come to this level, and what is all happening. I think that's the imagination.
Sir, not board. There is a wall. There is a wall by the name of these authors. So I
Okay,
see
sir.
that around hundreds and hundreds of the people, those who are on the lifetime on our
Okay, so
wall.
that's another that's a wall of the. So
Yes.
it's a great thing, sir. Actually, just I think that the book club, which has started with this very small concept, now it is increasing, and I think that's going day by day with lot of good things. Now I find that our Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey, Mr. Anurag Gupta, and Mr. Manthan Shah, all these three have come to this forum, and you have really given us a great learning, and also to respect to our club, because this is something that when we get people from this strata, we always consider that our book club is enriching by the knowledge, by the presence, and also by the number which we are getting every day. So I think that by now, almost about 20 20 talks have already been done. I think that Dr. Rotas, if you can say that, what is the number today?
Sir, you are exact.
So this 20. So that means just imagine the 20 and how many will go. It's a question of imagination. So I really thank all our speaker, the guest, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Pandey, Mr. Anurag Gupta ji, and Mr. Manthan Shah ji, for accepting our request, our invitation, sparing your valuable time, and also giving lot of inputs to our the audience, which will go a long way in their life, that they have learned a lot of things. Manthan Shah ji, I think that your age and your book both are really giving us a different kind of inspiration, that at this age, if you can write this kind of book, then what will be after 20 years? What will happen? So we are just imagining. This is all our imagination. Our Director General, all the times I find that since morning I find that his busy schedule, but even then he is available, and he is always an inspiration for all of us, that when he comes, he gives a lot of inputs to us and also gives some new idea. Again, it's another new idea which you have just seen, that now we are going to have a wall where we will have a name of the authors who have been participating in this book club. So thank you very much, sir, for being present here and inspiring us and always giving us some new things, new ideas beyond. Always say that out of the box. So this is another out of the box is with us. Chiranji Lalji, very, I should say that it doesn't speak anything, but does everything. A person who has really given the birth of this club. He is the person, he is actually the behind this scene, who has given the birth of this club. And now today, the other person who is Dr. Rotaji, who is actually taking this responsibility, and every month, I think that every month he has been organizing one or another talks. Excellent work by these two persons, Dr. Rotas and Dr. Chiranjilal. Great work you are doing. And you have really brought this central library into the forum. Because before these 20 talks, the central library was somewhere in the corner. But today the central library is in the front. And this is all because of both of you. So thank you very much. Akanksha, she came as a very new faculty. Hardly she has spent 2 months. And just see that what kind of inputs she has been giving, how she has been taking the dais, how she has been leading the team. So I think that Akanksha, I just wanted to give you a very special information that our Director General is very happy with you. One day he was mentioning that how she has been doing the job. So I think that you are doing excellent job. Keep it up and continue to do this kind of activity. I think this is something is This is called the beyond your area of work, beyond the responsibility. It is not the
Thank you.
responsibility of mass communication department, but you are doing something beyond your department. So continue to do this kind of job. Your job is highly appreciated, not by me, but many of us. So thank you very much. And now I really thanks to our both the deans, Brigadier Dhani sir, Jassi sir, and all the audience team who are present here and who have been spared their time and they are available with us. I once again invite all the guests. I don't know whether it will be convenient to all our guests to come to the Greater Noida campus or not. But if you find any time, and if you are here sometime, you are invited to our campus also. This is one of the green campus of our Amrit University. We are here in a green campus where the environment is green, everything is green, our mind is green, and we are always inviting the people that be here and enjoy this kind of green scenario in our campus. So thank you very much to all of you, and we will wait for the another author talk in the next month. Thank you very much, both of you, Dr. Rotas and Dr. Chanjila.
So may I have a request to all the panelists, please? Be on camera, we can have a photograph. IT host is requested to pin all the panelists. Thank you, sir.
Anurag ji, now I
Yeah.
give you the one. Anurag ji, if it is possible, you have visited to Amity for an interview in 2002. So now we take your experts at our Gwalior campus. I will pass your detail to my Gwalior lead. So whenever time to visit Gwalior and share your knowledge.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
Dr. Pandey, sir, I know that you are very busy with the many assignments, but I need the one liberty from you. Please, as per your comfort zone, please visit to our Defense Colony headquarters with the Chauhan's house, or whenever your time permit to visit any location, sir. We need your this liberty from your side, from your busy schedule.
Thank you.
And Manthan sahab, definitely we make today onwards, we make one wall with all my expert chief guests as well as the expert talk, and your this the one picture, because today Shri Anil Kumar Chaudhary mentioned, what do you think after about 22 years? Then I take this liberty that encash this opportunity before 22 years.
Thank you very
So
much.
your name and your picture on our wall with our two experts and the two chief guests. So Manthan sahab, our best wishes with you. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
As young authors, we are happy to go beyond and come. Like we can have 2-3 young authors come and speak with the students also. So the honor would be ours. Thank you again all for having me on the panel with these esteemed guests.